Honey, we really need to talk.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Honey, We Need to Talk. This is me, Komal, and this is
Me.
Faisal-e-Azam. Acha.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, today's topic is basically everything that is happening in the country. It's hard to talk about anything else than what's happening. So it started with three girls that brutally got murdered.
Yeah,
Really tragic, obviously.
yeah,
And it triggered riots.
yes.
A lot, obviously, in the beginning, there was a lot of misinformation. Targeting obviously Muslim community and whatnot, but now it's just full on riots. Oh, don't cry.
No, I'm not crying. Okay, so deep breath. Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like it has been fed to the people for the past 10, 15 years through the previous government, and nobody is alien to that fact because a lot of the politicians in the parliament who are actually coming out and saying that, one of them, what's her name?
So the government.
Yeah, she's saying she's not surprised. And there
Oh
are
no, that was Sayyida Warsi.
Yeah, Saida Warsi. So she's saying she's not surprised. There's another one who's saying the same sort of thing. And the people who are coming on TV and saying that their parents grew up with such sort of, fear in the 70s and 80s when they came over here. They were riots outside, and this is the kind of fear they were experiencing.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? What do you think about this? And what's your opinion on it? And do you think it really represents the country of Britain, how it is?
To be honest with you, I used to think that racism was less common than what I've
Seen in the past few days.
what I've come to learn now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I did have the idea that it's just under the covers basically, because in the UK the racism is like very subtle. Okay, it's not open. Okay, so like people and racist people, obviously they know they can get caught.
Yeah.
Okay, so they exhibit their racist behavior when they're alone with you. They never do it in front of other people.
Yes,
You
I
understand what I mean?
believe you.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times it's like, you won't come across people that would come off as racist at work. But when they're in their private, space and whatnot, that's when it would start to come out. Or maybe when they're drunk.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things I actually thought I would bring to make everyone aware of it, that I think that the people who are actually being racist, obviously, have you heard them talk?
Yeah, obviously.
In rise, I mean, you cannot ignore the fact that they're not 100% in their conscious mind. You cannot ignore that fact. Like, I'm sure some of them are drunk. You can't say they're not. And then all I'm trying to say is I just feel like there are people who are not 100% conscious. And what they're doing is
conscious.
it coming out, or was it already there? Like, what's going on? I don't understand.
No, they're not drunk.
This is so
That's
sus.
just their normal. They're just being normal.
They're just being normal. Oh my god. It's really, more than anything, I think it's really, really disappointing.
Oh yeah.
It is so disappointing. And just the fact that you realize that some people are just using this supporting narrative because that's just how they felt inside. And now it's come out.
It's starting to come out, yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to come out. But
you tell me this, okay?
what?
Have you ever faced racism?
Very subtle.
Like, what was it?
I don't even remember. It was just somebody refusing to be served by me.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
but I said to them, is it racism? They said no. They said
You asked who?
my manager.
Oh.
So it was so that's the thing. That's happened more than once. So I don't know when it was racism, or was it just an old customer of a colleague?
Oh, okay.
So it's so funny. But in my second job, I did feel I experienced it once or twice.
What happened?
I don't remember correctly, to be honest,
Mm.
but it was very. I think my manager agreed, and my colleagues agreed that that's what it was,
Okay.
and that they when I was away, after I talked to them and or spoke to them, and when I went away, and then they had to call another colleague of mine. They'd be like, she's gonna serve them, and they didn't tell me at that time. I was like, did something happen, or were
Mm.
they just being racist? And they were like.
Mm.
They didn't really answer me because they weren't like that. But then I had a really cool colleague at work. I remember she was a very good friend of mine, and she said to me, she used to say this to me very normally. She's like, "I'm as racist to you as you are to me."
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, but I'm not racist. What are you talking about? She was Greek and she was English, half there. And I was like, what are you talking about? But I don't feel that way about anybody. She's like, yeah, but you know I'm Greek and I'm English, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're as racist to me as I'm like, no!
That doesn't make sense.
Don't push it, lady. But we were very open, so I just laughed it off and I said, what do you mean? And she explained herself, basically, yes, there'll be some things that you do, and there'll be some things that I do. But that's not what this racism is it? This is almost like an unrest throughout the country, almost like being on the brink of a civil war, isn't it? Have you ever faced racism in the UK?
A couple of times, yeah.
Oh, tell me.
It was like there was a young girl, white young girl,
Okay.
and she asked me, "What's your religion?" Like randomly, "What's your religion?" And I said, "Muslim." And she then proudly said, "My dad killed your people." Ouch. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so. You must be really immature to say something like that.
She was
out
quite
loud.
young, and I was surprised that she was so young and she thought that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I
What?
thought, like, my people.
What my people?
My people don't give a shit about me. One of my people owes me 350 pounds. That guy.
Yeah. What's your view on? Okay, have you seen the latest TikTok? Because TikTok is a social media outlet, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So, and there are people being interviewed on streets. Why do you think the immigrants? Do you think they've taken your job? Yeah, they've taken my job. Well, why don't you look for a job? I've got a criminal record.
Yeah, I know that one.
But they're taking our jobs. But how are they taking your jobs? Do you think it's because of them and not because of your criminal record?
That's funny.
Yes, it is. And then there are people, they're taking they're taking our job, and they're taking this and taking that, and they're like, and they took your teeth too. So what do you think that as a community, as a minority community living in the West, in one of the most developed countries of the West, do you think that we should speak up? Do you think we should take any action?
Action as in, okay, there are some guys, Pakistani, like Muslim guys in Birmingham, they have tried to like retaliate. And they've
How? How have they
caused some
retaliated?
disruption. Like I saw one video in which the guy was slashing tires of a car. And one other guy was like swearing at journalists and so on. Obviously, that I do not support.
I was going to also ask you that as a father of a son as well as a daughter, how do you feel about bringing your kids up in a country where such things are happening?
My initial concern, you know what, it was that I hope that attack in that dance school, okay, that doesn't become a trend. Because, you know, in every country, like there's a trend, like in the UK, knife crime, in the US, it's regular occurrence that, you know, school shootings and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was concerned that I hope it doesn't become a trend over here. Because, you know, obviously as a dad, I imagine, you know, their school, and I feel like, you know, you can climb over the fence, you know, doors are quite strong, but the fence you can climb over, and then the door inside, you know, it's glass door, so somebody can break in, you know. So obviously, as a concerned dad, you know, that was my initial concern.
Hmm.
Okay, and I think any genuine person, okay, would have concern like this,
Yeah.
and not the color of this, the color of skin of the guy who did it, or his religion and so
Exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're starting to try to identify, the person who did it, okay, and then I think that is where you're starting to head towards a problem. That you're not concerned about the children, you're starting to concern about to be concerned about the identity of the guy who did it. You're starting to find the color. I'm not, I think I'm not finding color. I'm just concerned that I hope it doesn't become a trend.
Yeah, that's true. So
because imagine if it did, they would, the governments would have to spend so much money in, boosting the security of every school.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go to a school, where, you've got like metal detectors and so on.
Is not just the irresponsibility of what's going on and what has been fed into the UK population from the past 10, 15 years, but from the previous government. It's very, very irresponsible in today's day and age. Like, really? What are you, caveman? I honestly, like, okay, you know what? I can go to the very end of this conversation and go like, okay, if you didn't want anybody else in your country, why did you go to all other countries and rule? But then it's not, no, I'm just saying, like, if you really want to make it a discussion of stupidity, this is what you're coming to. These are the end of questions, aren't they? I really feel that in today's day and age, the lack of acceptance in a first world country like Britain shows and has also brought to the surface how, I think, how many uncivilized people.
Intolerant
Is uncivilized, isn't it? I think intolerant is uncivilized people who have come to the surface, and we have now to deal with them. It's really disappointing. It's catastrophic. It's the most backward thing I could have ever heard. You're not a person who's not aware of the internet. You're not a person, especially in this country, without any means to travel. Considering you're in the Europe, but you don't want to be in Europe. You want out of Europe. You want everybody out of Britain. You just want to live under a rock in a cave, honestly.
In a pub.
Sorry?
In a pub.
In a pub, yeah, under a rock in a cave, and with another cave right opposite you in a pub. It's baffling. The kind of really, I mean, if you call your people literate, honestly speaking, if you think everybody else or people of color are taking your job, or you think there are white people out there who are not Muslims, you're so very wrong. What's your opinion on this as somebody who's lived here longer than me? I mean, you're literally somebody who grew up here. So what would you say to something like that? I think you are not just Pakistani, but you're also British. So
apparently not anymore.
Yeah, apparently not anymore. So what do you think about that? Isn't it like it's not possible that you don't feel like this is your home? You do say that this is your home.
I think that's like going against the course of history. We live in a global village. It's very easy to travel. Okay, people go to different places for business. People go to different places just to visit. So you will come across people that are from different parts of the world. It's just normal now.
Yeah.
You will hear, walking down the street, you will hear a different language. So it's just going against the course of history. What do you want? Like shut down the whole thing?
Yeah, exactly. Shut down your country, build 4 walls. Like honestly.
Yeah, lock yourself in, basically.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just going against the course of history.
It's irrational.
Irrational, and
it's irrational behavior. You all need therapy.
you're on the losing side, to be honest.
Oh yes.
Even if you manage to kick everybody out, okay, eventually there will be a time when they'll say, okay, this is not doable. Let's let them in.
You know what people are doing because of what they're doing. There are people being sentenced to years and years in jail. So just because of these few mistakes for a few days, you've now lost 3 years of your life. Yeah, that's even stupid just for you.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to bring it to you. And I think we as people who are part of the minority, I know that is something that would be natural to retaliate or create fuss over and react to them how they react to us, but I don't think that's the answer.
The guy who did it,
Yeah.
he was born in Wales, grew up in the UK. Okay?
Yeah.
His parents were from Rwanda,
Yeah.
and his name does not sound like a Muslim name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the people in Rwanda, they're Christians. Okay, so
Oh,
so he's probably Christian.
Yeah.
But why do you think Muslims are a particular target?
I think Muslims are a particular target because of the underlying, like Keir Starmer was just saying this in an interview, was saying there is underlying Islamophobia, and it's I think it's irrational, to be honest. If anything, you know what, this all seems a bit futile to create all these riots and do all these things. You're getting sentenced to jail. If you get hurt, your patient, your nurse or your doctor is going to be a person of color. If it's ridiculous, because then if you want a taxi, there again is going to be some Pakistani guy, or a person of color. Like you cannot live like this. Honestly, it sounds like a mental problem.
No, it's not mental problem. Like it, ये चीजें होती हैं. There are countries that go through far right phases. Nazi Germany. I mean, I think that's not. It's not. It's not that they're uneducated or anything.
That's the problem.
Yeah, no,
that's another problem.
It's not that they're uneducated, because uneducated people don't behave this way. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are some people that are educated and they behave this way.
But that's the problem. Even educated people.
Yeah.
Who was on TV who said that this is past the dinner table?
Say that
Varsi. Yeah, she said this is past the dinner table test. Racist far right people had a certain getup. They were recognizable.
Yeah.
But because it's scary how she's mentioned that this is past the dinner table test. Now you can't tell.
Yeah. Now it's in households.
Yeah. Now it's in household.
That is messed up.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like Nazi Germany. When far right used to be the fringe element, but then it started to get into people's homes, and entire families became like Nazis basically. Yeah. And that's the thing they don't realize. Mm-hmm. They don't think a racist person does not think that he's racist.
That's the word. That's really shocking.
That's problematic.
That's problematic.
Exactly. Like Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, Nazis, they were just concerned about their country. That's how they perceived it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like even those people that are victim of all of this, okay, even they don't understand that, what they're getting themselves into.
I do feel like we can combat something like this more easily in today's day and age because of social media, especially. Because there was no social media in, for example, Germany during World War II, etc., etc. So I do feel like it's more easily, I suppose it can be handled, but not to ignore the fact that the resources and the kind of police they have had to hire for these marches and riots, that is now, those resources are being wasted on something like that. Whereas the NHS or their other things, the councils who have gone bankrupt, they could have been helped.
The thing you would imagine that, we interact with everybody else, so on. So you would imagine that this sort of thing wouldn't happen, but it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Misinformation is spreading like fire.
Yeah, misinformation spreading.
Even though, like, you would imagine that, we will be able to see through, the misinformation and so on and so forth. But it seems like misinformation tends to catch on a lot faster than, real information.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
But that's human nature, isn't it?
That's the nature of social media.
And social media, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you would imagine that this sort of thing, like, democratization of, social media, we will be able to, pick out where the wrong information, bad information is coming from.
Yeah.
But instead, the people are starting to spread it,
Yeah.
share it, and like it, and blah blah blah. It's starting to come out in their algorithm.
Yeah.
So even if the guy is remotely racist,
Yeah.
he's probably starting to see a lot of racist material.
Yeah.
That is so messed up.
That is messed up because now, when you operate your phones, they just show you what you like or what you respond to.
Yeah.
So now imagine how many people are being brainwashed. They have already been brainwashed in the past 10, 15 years of the Tory government. But now again, they're being further brainwashed. So they think everybody is on the same page as them.
Yeah. Like it makes them think that they're not alone.
Yeah, it makes them think they're not alone and this is what's happening. And it's...
Okay, so in my opinion, this country hasn't made economic strides forward, okay, that it needed to keep up with the expenditure that it had. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and after that, we were hit with two calamities.
Yeah.
Okay, Brexit and lockdowns.
Yeah, all at the same time.
And now it's starting to sting.
Now it's starting to sting.
Yeah, now people are starting to feel the burn. And I think a
Shit
lot
has
of it,
hit the fan.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with that they can't have the lifestyle that they wanted. If you look at their rhetoric, there's like saying it's where they want to be able to afford things that they can't anymore.
Okay.
Do you understand? Like housing, bills, groceries, the whole inflation and everything. Okay, that these people are starting to think that immigrants are the problem because for last 14 years they've been told every problem the previous government just pointed at immigrants.
Yeah.
And the guy who was like 10 years old when Tories came in, now that guy is 25 years old.
Yeah. So now he can do something about it.
And now he's outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Writing.
Yeah, writing.
Exactly. Or not even writing, now it's inside homes. So, it's a state of mind. Extremism is a state of mind.
State of mind. Building.
Okay, it can be in households, it can be in families.
Yeah.
You could be growing up,
with
that. Your kids could be growing up with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think a lot of it has to do with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It has a lot to do with, I heard one woman saying that I don't have an iPhone, okay, but there's if you go to High Street, there are immigrants, can't speak English properly, and they're carrying iPhones.
So what's her point?
Her point is that I can't afford an iPhone, but that guy is able to afford iPhone. iPhone. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, what if he's working harder? What if he has a nicer job? What is he if he's more educated?
Yeah, but from her point of view, she should be the one at the top.
Why do you deserve to be at the top just because you think you should be at the top?
Because I think she thinks that it's her country, so she should be the first in line. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, but
they have to understand that this is not how things work.
Exactly.
If you want equality, okay, which you do, okay, then the person who works harder gets to have more stuff.
Exactly. That's how it should be.
If you do not want this, if you want to be the first in line because you're English, that means does that mean that the Scottish would be second in line?
Exactly.
Welsh would be third in line.
Yeah.
Okay, then you don't want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Because even if you kick out all of the immigrants,
exactly.
Okay, who are you going to turn on next?
Yeah.
Because the problems are not going to go away.
The problems are not. There'll always be somebody who has an iPhone and you don't.
Yeah.
Some other person doesn't.
There will always be vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
irrational behavior, isn't it?
Yeah. If you think about it, if you try to understand their perspective, that's what they're saying. That we can't afford shit, basically.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And if you can't afford shit, then immigrant are way down the list. If you're gonna point fingers at something, the government is the first one.
Exactly.
And specifically, the previous government.
Yeah.
Is the first one that you should be pointing fingers at. There are countries out there that have made tremendous progress economically. Okay,
Yeah.
there are countries out there that have far more number of people that are dependent upon the taxpayer, and those countries have managed to get rich.
For example, please.
India,
Okay, yeah.
Brazil,
Brazil, really? Okay.
some countries in the Middle East. Bangladesh has managed to lift millions of people out of poverty.
Oh, yes, yes.
And this country hasn't made enough progress that would facilitate the lifestyle that we actually want.
Do you,
Understand what I mean?
yeah, do you think at some level, I feel like at some level, people who think that immigrants shouldn't be here and who develop this sort of extremism thinking, do you think that maybe they take their own privileges for granted? They're just lazy enough to point the finger, isn't it?
I mean, some of them are lazy. Okay, some of them are just influenced by this continuous, Islamophobia and
Feeding through
anti-immigrant,
the media, isn't it?
anti-immigrant, rhetoric.
Yeah,
And it can work. In Nazi Germany, Jews were the problem.
yeah,
Because with this thing, it's a state of mind. So with this thing, whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter to them. Like what just happened, like that guy killed 3 girls,
yeah,
okay, and they started attacking mosque,
yeah,
okay. After that, it was announced that this guy is not Muslim,
yeah.
and they're still attacking mosques. What do you think about that? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter that the guy was Muslim or not. There's a state of mind.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If it's real or not, it doesn't matter.
How can you exist like this? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense, obviously.
Like, take a reality check, man.
Yeah.
It's not
And
like
you just think, man, like, okay, if you, why are you waiting for immigrants to leave before you become a doctor?
before you go get an education,
Before you become a nurse?
before you pass GCSE.
Yeah. Why are you waiting for immigrants to leave first?
Yeah, exactly.
Go become a taxi driver, become a bus driver.
Exactly. Yeah.
We need police officers. Go become a police officer.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Like if you want a job, go get a job. It's if anything, it's harder for immigrants to get a job.
It's
Because
harder.
because they don't know English.
Yep.
Okay, they don't understand laws. Even the companies, they don't always want an immigrant because the guy can't speak English, because the guy does not know how
Familiar with the laws of the
with the
country
laws
as
and
such. Yeah.
the mannerisms in
Yeah.
at workplace and so on and so forth. And a lot of British people, they just leave certain jobs. They don't want to become they don't want to wash cars for
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
For instance. So obviously you will see an immigrant guy,
Yeah.
washing cars.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you start washing cars then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop getting curry on Friday night. Stop getting curry and kebab on Friday night, okay?
Yeah.
Eat your own bland food.
Well, how many times
What?
when we order
Yeah.
from Deliveroo or
Yeah.
Uber Eats, how many times it's always a foreigner? How many times have you seen
99%.
how many times have you seen a British guy? I've never seen a British guy.
A British woman. 2 British women.
Only twice.
Only twice in the past 3-4 years.
And how do they work? Whether it's raining, whether it's the snowing,
yeah.
whatever, they're out there at work.
They're out there at work. They're at your door. They take the right amount of time. They bring the food and they make sure they've done everything to do their job properly.
And maybe that's why those companies are hiring them.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it?
Yeah. So okay, so if you want immigrants to leave, start applying for Deliveroo. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can put in that many hours.
Exactly.
Under those circumstances.
Exactly.
But you don't want to.
Yeah.
You want easy money.
Yeah.
I want a nice job.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want a job.
Yeah.
Well, there's just so many nice jobs. If you want more jobs, tell your government to create more nice jobs.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the immigrant.
Yeah.
He's just here to he's just a regular immigrant just wants to work, so his daughter grows up and becomes a GP or something.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that guy is not so picky. I'm not going to do this job. I'm not going to do that. They would do the shittiest jobs.
Exactly. Just
Okay,
to bring
so-
their kids up in a
Yeah.
somewhere better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of the guy is actually doing you a favor. That he's doing the jobs that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
If the guy stopped doing those jobs,
That's funny.
okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do those jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's ironic. We're not taking your jobs.
yeah,
You don't want to do those jobs.
yeah. All basically, just give it a try for a
Yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah.
All the people that don't want immigrants to work, just go do the immigrant's job.
Yeah. Have fun.
Yeah,
See ya. See you in 2 weeks' time. Oh.
yeah. That's funny.
Can I just say that as somebody who is an immigrant, after coming to this country, I have met a lot of nice people who have become my friends, who are at work, and I feel embarrassed for them.
Yeah,
Because I have told them I love them and they like me so much, and they've been there for me when at work or at otherwise in my life, at times when I really when I needed friends, and they were there, and they it's just I know they're not like that, but these people make them look bad, in other words.
I
isn't
feel
it?
I feel sorry for them.
I feel
I feel sorry for
all the people who are not like this. My heart
Yeah.
goes out to them, because they realize, and they've got their eyes open, and they realize the situation they are in. And
I feel sorry for the people that are not racist,
yeah,
and they have to go out and tell everybody that they don't represent us. They don't represent us.
yeah,
It's you shouldn't be in a position like that,
yeah,
where you've done nothing wrong, but you still have to go out and try to prove that this is not in my name. I have nothing to do with them. I don't support them.
yeah, yeah,
And that actually reminds me of the Muslim community,
yeah.
when we were
Exactly. When
bashed
yeah,
with when war on terror was going on.
yes, exactly.
We were constantly in a position where we had to we
Prove
condemn
yourself.
this, we condemn that, we condemn this, we condemn that.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
Someone who has lived through that, I don't, nobody should be in that position.
Nobody should be. It's heartbreaking.
So this is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear about what you have to say on the topic. So thanks so much. Until next time.